Hi everyone, welcome to Study Simplified community. In this video, we are going to see the basics of Laplace transform. So be with me till the end of the video to get all the knowledge in depth. Let us start with the very first point. When can we apply the Laplace transform? Because if you talk about the signals, we have two types of signal. One is the continuous time signal and second is the discrete time signal. The notations are x of t and x of n. In the many exam paper or in the many examples, you might have seen this notation, the small t which represents the continuous time and the small n which represents the discrete time. So tell me, when can we apply the Laplace transform? The answer is Laplace transform can be applied to the continuous time signal. It cannot be applied to the discrete time signal. So your question might be, so which transform which I can use for the discrete time signal? The answer is Z transform. So you can use Z transform or you can go for the DTFT, a discrete time Fourier transform, if you want to perform some calculation or if you want to analyze the discrete time signal. So first point is clear. Moving forward to the second point. Laplace transform is used in solving differential equation with boundary condition. Now this is very important point I want to elaborate here. So when you solve the differential equation and you get the final answer, let's say solution of the differential equation, you get some constant terms C1 and C2. These are nothing but the arbitrary points, and you use the boundary condition to get this answer C1 and C2, which is a time taking process. You can minimize the calculation, you can minimize your time by going with the Laplace transform, because in Laplace transform there is no need to first find the general solution which contains C1 and C2 and then go for the boundary conditions to get the constant. So there is no need for that. In the one step only you will get the answer. So this is the benefit why we use the Laplace transform. The next task is to learn about how we can apply the Laplace transform. For that I have made a note. Make sure if you have a time domain signal x of t and if you apply the Laplace transform, then you will get the Laplace domain signal, and this s represents we are in the Laplace domain. S is nothing but the parameter. So these are some terms you should know. So if we apply the Laplace transform, we can go from time domain to the Laplace domain. But what if I have the Laplace domain signal and I need a time domain signal? Then you should go for the inverse Laplace transform. So these are the important points, Laplace transform and the inverse Laplace transform. This will help you to shift from one function to another function, like time domain to Laplace or Laplace to time. Now moving forward, how can we apply the Laplace transform? So basically you have x of t, this part is given, right? We have a time domain signal. We want the Laplace domain signal, which is capital X of s. Then the formula is integral minus infinity to infinity e raised to minus st into x of t dt. If you solve this integration, you will get your answer, which is a Laplace domain signal. But there are some notes you should keep that in mind while solving the Laplace transform. The very first point is, if constant is multiplied to a function, you can take that constant outside. So if you take that outside, it would be k into Laplace of f of t. Okay, or it can be sometimes two functions are added or two functions are subtracted, right? If that is the case, then you can split the Laplace of f of t plus minus Laplace of g of t. But make sure if you have Laplace of g of t into f of t, then you cannot split the Laplace, like Laplace of g of t into Laplace of f of t. It is not possible. So keep that in mind. If two functions are added or subtracted, then you can split the Laplace, but if they are multiplied or if they are divided, then you cannot split the Laplace. So let us see the first example. F of t is given as a, where t is greater than 0. So tell me, what would be the Laplace transform of f of t? You have to use the formula. Laplace of f of t is equal to integral minus infinity to infinity f of t into e raised to minus st dt. In this formula, only two things you have to take care of. The first part is the limits and the second part is about the function. So our function is a, so this function is a when my limits are 0 to infinity. So this is the very important point. Check what is the limit and how the function is behaving in that limit, right? So t is greater than 0 basically means 0 to infinite. So from 0 to infinite, my function is behaving as a constant, which is a. Now in this case, you can solve the integration. A is constant, take it outside. So integral e raised to minus st would be e raised to minus st upon minus s do the upper limit minus lower limit thing, because it is a definite integral, and if you do that there is some calculation e raised to minus infinity. So make sure e raised to minus infinity is nothing but 1 upon e raised to infinity, which is 1 upon infinity, which is 0. So this is the part e raised to minus infinity is equal to 0. So substitute that e raised to 0 is 1, and if you do the calculation it would be a upon s, where s is greater than 0. Now your question might be why s is greater than 0? Because your time is greater than 0, that is the reason your s is greater than 0. If your time would be less than 0, then respective s is also less than 0. This s is nothing but the region of convergence where you will get the finite value and the system is stable. So now we are going for the next question. F of t is equal to e raised to plus at when t is greater than equal to 0. Now tell me what would be the Laplace of this function. Again, using the same formula, we are changing the limits 0 to infinity. In that limit our function is behaving as e raised to plus at. Then using the indices we can add the power, so e raised to a minus s into t. Now do the integration. In the integration always the coefficient is divided, and you have to do upper limit minus lower limit, then you will get the final answer. But there is one problem. If you substitute infinite straight away here, you might be thinking I am getting answer e raised to infinity, which is nothing but infinite, right? But this is wrong. Why? I will tell you the reason. So the question was, if I substitute this infinite here, I will get e raised to a minus s into infinity, which will lead to the infinite answer, right? But what I am saying is our value of s is greater than a. If that is the case, if s is greater than a, then a minus s would be what? A minus s would be negative. I can give you one example. Let's say s value is 5 and a value is 1. So 5 is greater than 1, correct? So a minus s basically means that 1 minus 5, which is minus 4. The answer will always be negative. So if answer is negative, then this bracket is completely negative, right? So e raised to negative into infinity. So e raised to negative into infinity, in the previous question we saw that it was equal to 0. So this is the reason, if you want a finite answer, your value of s should be greater than a. If it is less than a, then the answer would be infinity. Your system might be unstable. But if it is s is greater than a, then you can happily say that my answer is not infinity, but it is e raised to minus infinity, which is 0. Then do the calculation again. This is 0 and this is minus 1. So answer would be 1 upon s minus a. So if you have the function as e raised to plus at, the answer would be 1 upon s minus a, where s is greater than a and a is greater than 0. Again, if the question is changed to f of t is equal to e raised to minus at, then just replace this a with minus a. So the answer, that is the Laplace transform, would be 1 upon s minus of minus a, which is 1 upon s plus a. So I hope you got this part also. If the function is e raised to minus at, the answer, the Laplace transform, would be 1 upon s plus a. Now this slide is very important for those students who hate the integration, because in Laplace transform, as you saw in the formula, we have to solve many integrations, and that is time taking. But if you want to save the time, I have made one table. So this is the standard result which you can use if your t is greater than 0. This is the very important point, because your question might be, if my t is less than 0, will this standard result work or it will fail? So if your t is less than 0, there are some changes which I will explain you in the next slide. But in this slide, if my t is greater than 0, this all the standard result will work perfectly. So f of t is sometime a, it can be e raised to at or e raised to minus at, sine hyperbolic, cos hyperbolic, sine of at or cos of at. For all of that I have a standard result. So let's go one by one. If my function is a, then the answer is a over s, where s is greater than 0. If it is e raised to plus at, in the previous slide we saw the answer, it was 1 over s minus a, where s is greater than a. If e raised to minus at is my function, the answer would be 1 upon s plus a, where s is greater than minus a. If it is hyperbolic of at, then answer is a over s square minus a square, where s is greater than a. Your question might be why. If you substitute here s is equal to a, then it would be a over a square minus a square, which is 0, and your answer is infinite. And you actually answer is not infinite, it is undefined, right? So you don't know what is a over 0, right? It is undefined. So if you need a finite answer, your region of convergence should be s is greater than a. This is your region where you will get the finite answer. Similarly, next we have cos hyperbolic of at. The Laplace transform is s over s square minus a square, where s is greater than a. Then sine of at, Laplace transform of that is a over s square plus a square, where s is greater than 0. And cos of at, the Laplace transform is s over s square plus a square, where s is greater than 0. Now make a note, there is one trick to remember the formula. The very first point is whenever you have sine, the numerator is a constant value, that is a, right? And whenever you have cos, the numerator has the s parameter. Okay, so numerator will have s. Now note that whenever you have the hyperbolic part, the denominator is negative, and whenever the functions are normal, the denominator is positive. So this is the important note which you should make to remember and revise the formula very fast. Okay. Now moving forward to one of the important standard result, if the time domain function is t raised to n, the Laplace transform of that is n factorial upon s raised to n plus 1, where s is greater than 0. But you have to note this part. Whenever you have n factorial, let's say 5 factorial, you can expand it without any problem. 5 into 4 into 3 into 1, no problem, right? But what if you have half factorial or 3 by 2 factorial? Then it won't work. So if half factorial, as you can say that if fraction is present, right, it can be half, it can be 3 by 2, 5 by 2, then there is no expansion. Then you have to use some relationship. See, n factorial is equal to n gamma n. So you can say that n half factorial is equal to half gamma half, and the value of gamma half is root pi. So this is the important result which I want to make sure you are writing it down. So final conclusion, if your n value is a whole number, then you can do the expansion, no problem. But if your n value is a fraction, then you have to use some relationship, and you will get the answer, right? And you have to make sure you know one more thing. N factorial is n gamma n, and it is also equal to gamma of n plus 1. So this is the complete relationship between the factorials. So make sure you are writing this down, and also gamma half is root pi. This is the important result. Up till now we have seen all the standard results for t is greater than 0. Your question might be, when my t is less than 0, what should I do? So for that, this is this slide. What if my s is less than 0, which means my region of convergence is in the negative side. As you can see, the very first point, when your t is greater than 0, this signal is known as a step signal, or you can say the step function. U of t graph is like this, where it works when your time is greater than 0. So when your time is greater than 0, it will work. When your time is less than 0, it won't work. So if the question is manipulated as a into u of t, you can straight away say that the Laplace transform is a over s, which is u of t is nothing but t is greater than 0. That is the reason you are getting the answer as a over s, as studied in the previous slides, which is a standard result, and your s is greater than 0. Now see, if u of t is changed with u of minus t, so it would be t less than 0. We have to focus on this now. So when my time is less than 0, or you can say u of minus t, the graph would be like this. Okay, in the negative side my graph will work, but in the positive side it won't work. In that case, if your function is minus a into u of minus t, so this is a time domain function, right? So this is a time domain function, then Laplace of that would be a over s. You can see that results are same, but what are the changes? Your amplitude in the time domain should be negative, and your time is shifted, right? It is from positive to negative, right? So it is minus t. So if here it is plus, in the question if it is plus, then in the answer it would be minus a over s. Okay, but the answer is same, like a over s is same, it will just change its sign. This is the final conclusion. A u of t Laplace is a over s, but if it is a u of minus t, then it would be minus a over s. But sometimes the examiner gives you minus a into u of minus t, then the answer would be plus a over s. As you can see that the results are same, just you have to see the time and the amplitude, they are changed. Time is here negative and amplitude is also negative. Hi everyone, welcome to Study Simplified. In the previous video we have seen the basics of Laplace transform, where if you have a time domain signal, then you can use the Laplace transform to convert a time domain signal in the Laplace domain, right? And you can do it by the standard definition, like solving the integration, or I gave you the standard result by which you can get the answer in seconds. So if you haven't watched the previous video, please do watch that, because Once you know the standard result, then solving the example would be very easy. Let us start with the example 1. F of t is equal to 2t square plus 3t plus 4, where t is greater than 0. Tell me what would be the Laplace. If you go by the standard definition, then you have to solve the integration to get the Laplace domain signal. Like capital F of s is equal to integral 0 to infinity, because our time is greater than 0, which means 0 to infinite, right? So in that region our f of t will work, and e raised to minus st dt. Solve this integration and you will get the Laplace domain signal, which is a time taking process. If you want to minimize the time, you can use the standard result. So the standard result is, if your signal is t raised to n, then Laplace of t raised to n is equal to n factorial upon s raised to n plus 1. Now just compare this term with this function. Because f1, f2 and f3, three functions are added, you can split the Laplace, right? So Laplace of this part is Laplace of 2t square. So 2 is constant, you can take it outside. So Laplace of t square, just substitute n is equal to 2, right? So Laplace of t square would be 2 factorial upon s raised to 2 plus 1, right? You just have to plug in the value of n here, and once you do that, you will get this bracket, that is 2 factorial upon s raised to 3, and you can move forward, right? Then Laplace of 3t, again constant is there, you can take it outside, so 3 is outside. Laplace of t would be 1 factorial upon s raised to 1 plus 1. Now comes the interesting point, what if I have constant? So for that, either you can say Laplace of a constant is equal to constant upon s, or you can think like this, Laplace of t raised to 0 into a is equal to a into Laplace of t raised to 0, which is 0 factorial upon s raised to 0 plus 1. In both the cases you are getting the same answer because the concepts remain same. So answer is 4 upon s, or you can say 4 into 0 factorial upon s raised to 0 plus 1. Make a note that 0 factorial is equal to 1 factorial, that is equal to 1. This is very important note about the factorial. Do the further simplification, you will get the answer, and region is s is greater than 0 because your time was greater than 0. Moving forward to the second example, f of t is equal to 2 into e raised to minus 3t minus 4 into e raised to plus 5t u of t. So u of t is a unit step function. Now the concept is very simple, unit step function. So meaning of this is, t is greater than 0, then your function will work. When t is less than 0, then the function is 0. So f of t is equal to 1 when t is greater than 0, and f of t is equal to 0 when t is less than 0. So you have to multiply this function with 1, and you have to say that it is t is greater than 0. So you got your limits, right? If you follow the method 1, it would be integral 0 to infinite and then f of t e raised to minus st dt. It's a time taking process, but you will get the answer. If you follow the method 2, just remembering the standard result and just plugging the values, you will get the answer. Like you have to find the Laplace of e raised to at. The answer is 1 over s minus a. Now check what is the value of a here. The value of a here is minus 3. So plug in here minus 3, answer would be 1 upon s plus 3. Similarly, the value of a here is 5. So plug in that value, you will get the answer as 1 upon s minus 5. Now you will get the answer after simplification. So the region is s is greater than 0 because time was greater than 0. Region is also important if you are writing the conventional paper. Now we will see some level up question. So the question number 3 is, f of t is given as sine square at where t is greater than 0. Now tell me what would be the Laplace of this function. Okay, so some of the student might go with method 1, which is solving the integration. Fine, you will get the answer. It is a time taking, I will say a very time taking process. So I won't recommend follow the method 1. Always go for the method 2 using the standard result. But there is a problem here. Whenever you have two functions added, let's say f of t plus minus, two functions added or subtracted, so you can split the Laplace, right? Laplace of f of t plus minus Laplace of g of t. But the question here is, the two functions are multiplied. Now tell me, if two functions are multiplied, f of t into g of t, can we split the Laplace, like Laplace of f of t into Laplace of g of t? Can we split the Laplace? Answer is no, we cannot split the Laplace. So in this case, you have to either go with the property, or you can say go with the trigonometry relationship, or go with the exponential relationship to get the answer. Because using this relationship, you can convert the power. power into multiple angle. That is the benefit part. So please make a note that whenever you have a function in a power format, always convert that into the multiple angle. Either you can use the trigonometry relationship or you can go with the exponential relationship. So here you have to make a note like power is always converted into multiple angle, because in many question you have to use this technique. Now note this relationship, sine square theta is equal to 1 minus cos 2 theta upon 2. What if it was cos square theta? Then you can write it as 1 plus cos 2 theta upon 2. So this is one more question. Either examiner can change it with sine square 80. Then you have to use this identity. Okay. Now moving forward, two functions. Now two functions are subtracted format. The first function is 1 over 2, right? This is the first function, 1 over 2. Now and the second function is cos 280 upon 2. So take this splitted Laplace. So Laplace of 1 by 2 is 1 upon 2 into 1 over s, and Laplace of cos 280 upon 2. So 1 upon 2 is constant, so take it outside. Laplace of cos 280. So Laplace of cos 280, you have studied the standard result, right? S square s upon s square plus omega square. So what is the value of omega here? Omega is 2a, right? So you can see the 2a, the whole square would be 4a square. That's it. Do the simplification, you will get the final answer, and s is greater than 0 because our t was greater than 0. In the previous question, we saw that the function was sine square 80. Now the question is, what if I have cos cube 80? Which relationship would you use? So there is this identity. If you have cos 380, then it is equal to 4 cos cube 80 minus 3 cos 80. Now you have to rearrange it to get the value of cos cube 80. So cos cube 80 would be cos 380 plus 3 cos 80 upon 4. Okay. So if you use that identity, now you can say that two functions are in the addition format, right? This is our first function, this is the second function. Now you have to split the Laplace and get the final answer. So Laplace of cos 380 upon 4, it would be 1 by 4 is constant, so take it outside. Then Laplace of cos 380 is s upon s square plus omega square, where omega value is 3a, so you have to plug in here. Omega square would be 9a square. Similarly, 3 cos 80 upon 4, because this 4 would be here, right? So 3 by 4 is constant, take it outside. Laplace of cos 80 would be s upon s square plus a square, and do the simplification, the final answer would be this. Now this is the one of the trickiest question. If my function is sine phi t into cos 3t, what would be my answer? Now most of the student will fall in the trap. They will say Laplace of sine phi t into Laplace of cos 3t. I will split the Laplace and I will get the answer, which is absolutely wrong, because you cannot split the Laplace if the two functions are multiplied. So your task is to convert this multiplied version into the addition format. How to do that? So make a note, whenever the two functions like sine A and cos B are multiplied, or it can be vice versa like cos A and sine B, then you have to use this formula. So 2 sine A into cos B is equal to sine of A plus B plus sine of A minus B. Use this identity, and the value of A here is phi t, the value of B here is 3t. Substitute that, so phi t plus 3t would be 8t, and here you can see that phi t minus 3t would be 2t. Now you can split the Laplace because two functions are in the addition format. When you split the Laplace, you will get 1 by 2 and Laplace of sine 8t. So Laplace of sine 8t is omega upon s square plus omega square, which is 8 upon s square plus 8 square. Similarly for this part, omega value is 2, so 2 upon s square plus 2 square. Do the simplification, you will get the final answer. Up till now we have seen the tricky question which were based on the trigonometry relationship, but there are more tricky question on algebraic also. So let us see this question. F of t is equal to a raised to t when t is greater than 0. Tell me what would be the Laplace of this function. Now most of the student will say I will go with 0 to infinity e raised to minus st into f of t, which is a raised to t dt, right? I will solve this integration and I will get the final answer. No problem, you can do that. It is a time taking process. You have to solve this integration and you will get the final answer. But what if I say I can do some manipulation and can get the answer in seconds? Now that is interesting, right? So if you have a raised to t and whenever the variable is in the power format, like you have constant raised to the variable. In that case you have to use the exponential and the log logic. What is that? Exponential logic is simple. You have to raise e raised to log of at, because e raised to log of something is answer is something which is a raised to t. So this is the manipulation. You can write a raised to t as e raised to log of at. Now reason being, if you write that, you can take this t outside, so it would be e raised to t into log a. Now if you compare this with e raised to alpha t, you know the Laplace of e raised to alpha t, which is Laplace of e raised to alpha t is what? 1 upon s minus alpha. Straight away you got the answer. So what would be the answer? Answer for this question is 1 upon s minus log a, because the value of alpha is log a. You can see here, this is nothing but alpha, right? So the alpha value is log a. That is the reason you will get the answer as 1 upon s minus log a. Now we will see some hard questions, so make a note of this question. F of t is equal to cos t into cos 2t into cos 3t. Tell me what is the Laplace transform of this function. It is sure that you cannot split the Laplace here, but then you have to use some identity. Yes, you have studied the identity for 2 sine a into cos b, but here we have all the terms as cos. For that, this is the identity. 2 into cos a into cos b is equal to cos of a plus b plus cos of a minus b. Now you have to just either choose this part as cos a cos b or choose this part as cos a cos b. You can do it anyway. I will choose this part as my cos a and cos b. So the value of a here is 2t and value of b here is 3t. Now you have to make one more note. Why? Because whenever you see this cos of 2t minus 3t, which means cos of minus t, then how it became cos of plus t. So here you have to make a note, like if you have sine of minus theta, then the answer is minus sine theta. But if you have cos of minus theta, the answer is plus cos theta. And also it is for tan of minus theta, which is nothing but sine of minus theta upon cos of minus theta. So you know the answer. Answer is minus tan theta. So these are the important relationship you should know while doing the simplification. So here you will get the plus cos t term and not minus cos t. I guess this step 1 is clear, converting any two multiplied function in the addition format, but still we have a problem. What is that problem? The problem is if you multiply this cos t term inside the bracket, again you get two parts. Like here in the first case, two functions are multiplied. In the second case, again we have two functions that are multiplied, which is cos square t, right? Here also you have to use the identity which you have studied in the previous question. Whenever you have cos square theta, it is 1 plus cos 2 theta upon 2. The value of theta here is nothing but t. So you can see that 1 plus cos 2t upon 2. But what about this term? Cos t into cos phi t. You have to use the identity which you have studied earlier. 2 cos a cos b is equal to cos of a plus b plus cos of a minus b, right? And use that, you will get the answer as half into cos 6t plus cos 4t. From the previous step, I just took 1 by 4 which was constant outside, and once I do that, the bracket becomes 1 plus cos 2t plus cos 4t plus cos 6t. Every function is now in the addition format. Then you can split the Laplace. Laplace of 1 is 1 over s. Laplace of cos 2t. Now omega value is what? Omega value is 2. So s upon s square plus 2 square. Here omega value is 4. Here omega value is 6. Use the standard result, which was s upon s square plus omega square. You will get the final answer. Again, we have one more tricky question on algebraic. So f of t is given as root t. Now root t is nothing but t raised to half, right? Tell me what is the Laplace of t raised to half. You might use the standard result. Laplace of t raised to n is n factorial upon s raised to n plus 1. And you might say answer is half factorial upon s raised to half plus 1. But this is not the final answer. Yes, this is the half correct answer, but not the final answer. Because you have to simplify this half factorial. Then your question might be, if I have 5 factorial, a whole number, I can simplify it easily. But if I have a fraction, then I told you in the basics, whenever you have a fraction, you have to use the relationship like n factorial is equal to n gamma n. Now you can say that if that is true, then it would be half gamma half, and gamma half value is what? Root pi. So this is the final answer. Actually, the previous question was little easy. Let us see some tough question, the question 9. F of t is given as t root t. Tell me what would be the Laplace of this function. You might say that it would be Laplace of t into t raised to half, and I can use the indices because the variable is same, that is t. I can add the power. So 1 plus half will be 3 by 2. So t raised to 3 by 2 is my function. I will take the Laplace, which is 3 by 2 factorial upon s raised to 3 by 2 plus 1. But what to do with this part? And you have seen in the previous question only that n factorial can be written as n gamma n. So it might be simplified as 3 by 2 gamma 3 by 2. So up till now you have solved it right, but this is the half solution. You have not simplified the answer completely, because what about this gamma 3 by 2? You can go further, but how to do that? You only know that gamma half is equal to root pi, but you don't know what is gamma 3 by 2. For that you should know some relationship. What I have told you, you know that n factorial is n gamma n, but this is also equal to gamma n plus 1. So now you can say that 3 by 2 can be written as 1 by 2 plus 1. Why I am doing that? Because now I can say that this is nothing but gamma of n plus 1, which can be written as n gamma n, which means it can be written as half gamma half. And you know that gamma half is root pi. So you will get the final answer, which is 3 root pi upon 4 into s raised to 5 by 2, where s is greater than 0. So this is very important relationship, and I hope you find this question very interesting, because it was not a cakewalk. You have to do some manipulations, right? Okay, let us see one of the interesting question on Laplace. If my function is 2 when my t is greater than 0 and less than 3, and function is behaving as t when my t is greater than 3, tell me what would be the Laplace of this function. Clearly here you cannot use your method 2, which is using the standard result. Why? The reason being, the standard result works when your time is 0 to infinite, that is when your time is greater than 0, or when your time is less than 0, which is minus infinity to 0. In that case only your standard results work, but here it won't work, because your range is 0 to 3 and the second range is 3 to infinite. In that case you have to use the standard definition, which is method 1. You have to solve the integration. Also make a note, this is known as a piecewise function, because for this piece the function is behaving differently, and for this region the function is behaving differently. That is the reason it is called the piecewise function. Now moving forward to the standard definition of Laplace, capital F of s is equal to integral minus infinity to infinity e raised to minus st f of t dt. Now when your limits are 0 to 3, the function is behaving as 2. When your limits are 3 to infinite, the function is behaving as t. Now you have to solve the integration. This part of integration is very easy. Why? This is constant, take it outside. So 2 is constant, take it outside. So 2 into integral 0 to 3 e raised to minus st dt. The answer would be e raised to minus st upon minus s. The upper limit is 3, lower limit is 0. So upper limit minus lower limit, the final answer would be this. No problem. The question, the integration was very easy. But what about this part? Integral 3 to infinity e raised to minus st into t dt. For this case actually you have to think. So I will tell you solution in the next slide. So the integration was I is equal to integral 3 to infinity e raised to minus st into t dt. Either you can use the uv rule. Integral uv rule says that it is equal to, so this part is u, sorry for my handwriting. Integral uv rule is u into integral v minus integral of derivative of u into integral of v. If you solve this, then you will get your final answer, but it is a time taking process. Would you agree, right? It is a time taking process. A lot of integration and differentiation you have to do, but I can minimize this using the trick. But first of all you should know that which part is u and which part is v. How can I say that the variable t is u and the variable e raised to minus st is v? For that we have a rule. Now the rule is you have to use this logic I late. I late is the priority which you have to consider the variable as u. If the function has inverse, it would be treated as u. In this question we do not have any inverse function, right? Then go for log. If log is present, we can consider it as u. Again, log is also not there. If inverse is not present, log is not present, move forward. We have algebraic, right? Here we can see that we have algebraic expression. Whenever you have algebraic expression, that would be then considered as u. So finally you can say that this part t is considered as u and the remaining part would be v. So e raised to minus st is v. Now you can either go for the uv rule or let us see the trick. Let us see the trick. It is very easy. It is a two-step process. The first step is you should first decide which is u and which is v, and then you have to use the logic u into integral v. So integral v basically means integral of e raised to minus st, which is e raised to minus st upon minus s. Now the second point is you have to follow the plus minus fashion. This term is positive. This term here you can see that negative, right? So this term is negative. If we have third term, then it would be positive. If we have fourth term, it would be negative. And you have to follow this plus minus fashion. So I guess the second point, which is plus minus fashion, is clear. The first point was write u, then integral v. You have to take the differentiation of this term. So differentiation of t is 1, and you have to take the integration of this term. So integral of e raised to minus st upon minus s is e raised to minus st upon minus s into minus s, which is plus s square, right? So minus s into minus s is what? Plus s square. Now the next task is to put the upper limit and then minus the lower limit. So wherever t is present, you have to first substitute as infinite and then minus the lower limit. You will get this answer. Do the simplification because this is I. You have to do the resubstitution in the backward, because in the previous slide you have seen the answer was 2 upon minus s into e raised to something minus s, right? So this was the previous term. You have to add this with I and you will get the final answer. Hi everyone, welcome to Study Simplified. In the previous videos we have seen the basics and examples of Laplace transform. In this video we are going to see the properties of Laplace transform. So let us see the first property. If you have a function f of t, the basic Laplace of this function is what? Capital F of s, right? But if this time is changed to a into t, which means a constant is multiplied to a time, then the Laplace would be 1 over a into capital F of s over a. So for example, if you have f of phi t, then the Laplace of this function would be 1 over phi, then capital F of s over phi. So this is the important property which is asked in the GATE examination. So make sure you are noting it down. Moving forward to the second property. The second property is the shifting property. As you know that if f of t is the time domain function and if you are taking the Laplace of this function, it would be capital F of s, right? Now, if e raised to at is multiplied to this function, then the position of s would shift at s minus a. So if it is e raised to plus at, the answer s would shift at s minus a. If e raised to minus at is multiplied to a function, s would be shifted at s plus a. Now you have to note, if the power of e is positive, then the shifting part is negative. If power of e is negative, then the shifting part is positive. Okay. So let us see one example. If I have to find the Laplace of e raised to plus at into sine bt, the answer would be b upon s minus a the whole square plus b square. So how this answer came? The reason behind that is simple. Laplace of sine bt is what? It is omega, let's say b, right? So b upon s square plus b square. Now you have to shift the position because e raised to at is multiplied to sine bt, right? So the position of s would be shifted at s minus a. That is the reason you are getting the answer as b upon s minus a the whole square plus b square. So I hope you understand the point. First is always find the Laplace of the given function, that is f of t, and then according to the second point you have to shift the position of s. If you have understood this, tell me the Laplace of e raised to plus at into t raised to n. Again, it's simple. Our function is t raised to n. Laplace of that is n factorial upon s raised to n plus 1. But this is not the final answer because e raised to at is multiplied to the function, right? So if e raised to at is multiplied, you have to do the shifting part. So s is s minus a, that is shifting of the position. So the final answer would be n factorial upon s minus a the whole raised to n plus 1. Now the third property is Heaviside shifting property. So this is very important because maximum questions are based on this property. Now Heaviside shifting property is when you have u of t in the picture. Whenever there is u of t, that is a unit step function, it is simple. You know the Laplace of u of t is 1 over s. What if the time is shifted? If the time is shifted, it can be t plus phi or t minus phi. Whenever the time is shifted, you have to use the Heaviside shifting property. It simply says that first you have to fix this bracket, this shifting part. So if t is shifted, what you have to do, fix this shifting part. Then you can see there are two example. If let's say t minus a is there, right? So t minus a, then the shifting would be at e raised to minus as. So here the value of a was 5, you are getting the answer as e raised to minus 5s. What if the time was shifted at t plus a? In that case the answer was e raised to plus as. Okay, so whatever is the part here, just raise that to the power of e. So if it is t minus a, then the power of e would be e raised to minus as, and if it is t plus a, the power of e would be e raised to plus as, right? I guess the first part is clear. Moving to the second part. Once the time is fixed, then you have to take the normal Laplace. So Laplace of u of t would be 1 over s. Multiply 1 and 2, the final answer would be e raised to minus 5s into 1 over s. So taking one more example, let's say if it was u of t plus 7, the Laplace of that would be, first I will take the shifted part, I will fix that, right? So e raised to plus 7s into Laplace of u of t would be 1 over s. So this is the final answer. Let us see some example on shifting property. The very first question is, f of t is given as e raised to minus 3t into sine 2t. Find the Laplace of this function. Actually this question is easy. First we have to find the Laplace of sine 2t, which is 2 upon s square plus 2 square, right? Now according to the property, if e raised to minus at is multiplied to a time domain function, the position of s would be shifted. So here it will shift the position of s to s plus 3, correct? So just shift the position of s to s plus 3. The answer would be 2 upon s plus 3 the whole square plus 4. Do the expansion and you will get the final answer. Okay, so now we will see some level up question. You have to find the Laplace of cos hyperbolic of at into f of t. Now at the very first instance you don't know how to solve the question, but I have always told you, whenever you have two function multiplied, you cannot split the Laplace. If you cannot split the Laplace, then you should think for some techniques, like how can I convert this question into some trigonometric form or some exponential form. And if you look carefully, you can convert this part into exponential form, which would be helpful, like cos of hyperbolic theta is equal to e raised to theta plus e raised to minus theta upon 2. So you can say that here theta is nothing but 80. The simplification would be cos hyperbolic of 80 is equal to e raised to 80 plus e raised to minus 80 upon 2. Now your question might be, what if instead of cos hyperbolic theta, if it was cos theta? Then I will give you one more formula. If it was cos theta, I am writing here, see, then the respective exponential term would be, either you can say the Euler's identity or you can simply say the relationship in the exponential terms. It would be e raised to j theta plus e raised to minus j theta upon 2. So you should know the two formula, cos hyperbolic theta, cos theta. Similarly, sin hyperbolic theta, sin theta. You should know the respective formula. Once you simplify the question, now the next task is to use the property. So the first step in this question was the conversion part. The second step is the splitting of the function, right? So this is the first function, this is the second function, and whenever we have two functions in addition or subtraction format, we can split the Laplace. So Laplace of e raised to at upon 2 into f of t is what? It's simple. Using the shifting property, you can say that the answer is capital F of s minus a upon 2. This 2 is because of this constant, so 1 upon 2 is common, take it outside. So Laplace of e raised to at into f of t is what? F of s minus a. Similarly, Laplace of this term is what? Capital F of s plus a. This is the final answer. Hi everyone, welcome to Study Simplified. In this video, we are going to see the form t raised to n into f of t. What if I have a function t raised to n into f of t? How can I find the Laplace? It's simple. Just you have to use this part, right? Laplace of t raised to n into f of t is equal to minus 1 raised to n d raised to n upon d s raised to n into capital F of s. So basic part is take the Laplace of this time domain function and then you have to do the differentiation n times. If it is t raised to 1, then 1 time differentiation. If it is t raised to 2, then 2 time differentiation, and so on. Let us see the example. You will have a clear idea about this form. So the first example is t into sine at, tell me what would be the Laplace of this function. So Laplace of t into sine at, this is of the form t raised to n into f of t. So first I will take the Laplace of f of t. So Laplace of f of t is what? A upon s square plus a square. Because I know the form is what? Whenever I have Laplace of t raised to n f of t, the Laplace answer would be minus 1 raised to n d raised to n upon d s raised to n capital F of s. So I got capital F of s in my first step. Now the second step is check what is the value of n, right? So value of n here is 1. So you have to differentiate once, and as you can see here, differentiate once, and it would be minus 1 raised to 1, which is minus 1. I hope this part is clear, how to apply the property, how to apply the formula. Now next step is the calculation part. Whenever you have differentiation of u by v, the rule is you have to write the answer as v into differentiation of u minus u into differentiation of v upon v square. So I guess you know the derivative rule. If the derivative is u into v, it's simple, u into differentiation of v plus v into differentiation of u. So this is the formula which you should note about the differentiation. We have only two rules, derivative of uv or derivative of u by v. So this form is derivative of u by v. So you can see here, first you have to write v, then differentiation of u, because the variable here is s, right? So you are differentiating with respect to s. So a is differentiated with respect to s, which means whenever a constant is differentiated, the answer is 0. Then minus, you have to write u, which is a, and differentiation of v, which is 2s upon v square. And finally you will get the answer as 2as upon s square plus a square, the whole power 2. In this question we actually used three steps. First step was finding it was the t raised to n into f of t, right? This second step was using the formula and finding capital F of s, right? This was the important point. And the third step was using the differentiation rule. Okay, let us see one level up question. The function is e raised to t into sine hyperbolic of t. Tell me what is the Laplace of this function. Actually, at the first point you might be thinking, I have studied two property. The property one is the shifting property, right? Shifting property in which e raised to t is multiplied to a function, then position of s is shifted, right? And the property 2 is about the differentiation property, which happens when t raised to n is multiplied to a function. In this question we have e raised to t, we have t, and we have f of t. So basically there is a confusion which property to use, property 1 or property 2. The answer is we have to use both the property 1 and property 2. How to start with this question? See, the very first point, this is my function f of t. Here the value of n is 1, and this part will lead you to the shifting part. So according to the property 1 we are doing the shifting, right? So I will do it at the end because it's very easy. But the property 2 is the differentiation part. I will do it first. Once I get the answer of the differentiation, then doing the shifting is very easy. So we will use the property 1 first. Let us see how we can use that. So Laplace of t raised to n into f of t is nothing but Laplace of t raised to 1 into sine hyperbolic of t in this case. So take the Laplace of this function, it would be, using the standard formula, it would be minus 1 raised to 1 d raised to 1 upon d s raised to 1 into capital F of s. So sine hyperbolic of t, Laplace of that is 1 upon s square minus 1 square. Now you have to use the uv rule. According to the uv rule you will get this as the answer. So from the previous step I got Laplace of t into sine hyperbolic of t, which is equal to 2s upon s square minus 1 the whole square. But my requirement was I need Laplace of e raised to t into sine hyperbolic of t. So basically whenever e raised to t is multiplied to a function, let's say g of t, right? So whenever e raised to t is multiplied to a function, what you have to do, first find capital G of s and then shift the position of s. So here the position of s will be shifted at s minus 1, right? But the value of g of s was found in the previous step, and the answer was 2s upon s square minus 1 the whole square. So basically here the position of s would be shifted at s minus 1, and that is the reason you are getting this step. Make a note, this is a square minus b square the whole square format. So a square minus b square, I will write it here. Whenever you have a square minus b square the whole square format, then it can be written as a minus b into a plus b the whole square, right? And it would be a minus b the whole square into a plus b the whole square, which is this part, which can be simplified further. So in this question we first found the Laplace of t into sine hyperbolic of t, and in the second step we did the shifting part, so e raised to t into g of t, right? So we did the shifting part. But many students will say, what if sir I do Laplace of e raised to t into sine hyperbolic of t as the first part, I will find the Laplace of sine hyperbolic t, then I will shift the position of s, and in the second part I will find t into g of t, which is this part, right? So I will do the simplification like differentiation in the next part. Either you can do this method or you can do this method, both are right, because in the first method you are doing the differentiation first and at the end you are doing the shifting part. In the method 2 you are doing the shifting part first and in the second part you are doing the differentiation. Let us see one of the interesting question, the question 3. Integral 0 to infinity e raised to minus 3t into sine t dt. Tell me what is the answer. So basically you don't know whether this question is based on Laplace transform or this question is of definite integral. So for that you have to make a note. Whenever you study the Laplace transform, you should know the definition. The definition was, if you have a function f of t, then the Laplace function, that is capital F of s, is equal to integral 0 to infinity e raised to minus st into f of t dt. Now if you compare the question with this format, you will find some similarity. The first similarity is the limits are same, right? These are the limits, the upper and the lower limit are same. The second point is e raised to minus st is compared with e raised to minus 3t. This means that the value of s is 3 and the value of f of t is what? Again do the comparison. The value of f of t is t sine t. So now you have f of t, you have the value of s, you can get the answer in seconds. So your question might be, how can I get the answer in second? The answer is simple. Capital F of s is integral 0 to infinity e raised to minus st f of t dt, which is equal to Laplace of f of t, and you know the standard result, right? So find Laplace of f of t, which is Laplace of t sine t, and you have to use the property again, differentiation property. So sine t Laplace is 1 upon s square plus 1, because t raised to n is multiplied to a time domain function. Then you have to go for the differentiation property and you will get this as your answer. Now you have the Laplace of f of t, basically means that you have this integral 0 to infinity e raised to minus st into f of t dt. But what you need is, you need your value of s as 3, right? If you compare the integral, this part, exponential part, you will note that I have answer in s, but the requirement is a constant because the value of s here is 3. So now in the next step you have to substitute the value of s as 3. So when I substitute the value of s as 3, you can see that I will get the required answer, and the answer is 3 upon 50. So please make a note of this technique. Whenever you have any definite integral type of question, then what you have to do, the very first step is you have to compare with the Laplace transform standard definition, and once you compare you will always get two things. One is f of t, second is s, and your task would be to find the Laplace of f of t, and then the next step is substitute the value of s. If you do the two things, first step find the Laplace of f of t, the second step is doing the substitution, then you will get your final answer straight away. Hi everyone, welcome to Study Simplified. In this video, we are going to see the form f of t upon t. If the given question is f of t upon t format, then the Laplace of that function is equal to integral s to infinity capital F of s ds if limit t tends to 0 f of t upon t exists. So first you have to check whether limits exist or not. If it is not existing, then you will not get the answer, but if it exists, then you can say that the answer is this integral s to infinity capital F of s ds. Let us understand this by an example. So the first example is sine at upon t. Tell me what would be the Laplace. So yes, this is of the form f of t upon t. So the first task is to check the limit. So limit t tends to 0 sine at upon t, the answer would be just multiply divide with a. So this is the form of limit t tends to 0 sine at upon at, which is 1, right? And a into 1 would be a. So this is the first part where you can say that limit exists, then you can find the answer. So the second point is you can solve the integration integral s to infinity capital F of s ds. So what is capital F of s? It is basically the Laplace of the function, right? So what is the given function? The given function is this numerator part, which is sin 80. So Laplace of that is a upon s square plus a square. Now you have to solve the integration, put the upper limit, then minus the lower limit, you will get the final answer. So for that you should know the integration formula. So integral s to infinity a upon s square plus a square ds, right? So the variable is s. So what you can do is you can divide this by a square numerator and denominator. If you do that, you will get 1 upon a integral s to infinity 1 upon s by a the whole square plus 1 ds, right? And this is nothing but tan inverse of s over a. So you should know the formula of integrals, then only you can solve the question. So tan inverse of s over a, upper limit is infinity, lower limit is s. So infinity you have to plug in first instead of s, so you will get the term tan inverse of infinity, then minus tan inverse of s over a. But this is not the final answer. You can simplify it further, because infinite can be written as tan of pi by 2, and tan inverse of tan theta is theta, so it would be pi by 2, and this is as it is. But the next part is the trigonometry relationship. Pi by 2 minus tan inverse theta is equal to cot inverse theta. So the final answer is cot inverse of s over a. I guess the idea is clear for you guys. First step is to check the limit, and once the limit is existing, then the next step is to solve the integration. Let us understand this by example 2. 1 minus e raised to plus at upon t, what would be the Laplace? Again we have to check the limits, because the form is f of t over t. So limit t tends to 0, 1 minus e raised to plus at upon t. Now you can see that if I substitute t directly in the function, I will get 1 minus 1 upon 0. So it's basically 0 by 0 form. If it is 0 by 0 form, I can use L'Hospital, or you can say L'Hopital rule, where it suggests that if you have 0 by 0 form, then you can take the differentiation of numerator and the differentiation of denominator with respect to the variable. So variable here is t, so we are differentiating with t. The numerator answer would be, after differentiation, minus e raised to at into a, and the answer for denominator would be 1. Now if you put t is equal to 0 in this new function, right, the answer is not 0 by 0 form. If answer is not 0 by 0 form, then you are getting the final answer. So what's the final answer? The answer is minus a. Now in the first step, we understood that the limit is existing. So in the second step, we can use the formula. Laplace of f of t upon t is equal to integral s to infinity Laplace of f of t, which is nothing but capital F of s ds, right? So what is Laplace of f of t? What is the Laplace of this part? You have to split the Laplace, right? So Laplace of 1 is 1 over s, and Laplace of e raised to plus at is 1 upon s minus a. So the previous step was integral s to infinity 1 over s minus 1 over s minus a. Now you have to integral with respect to ds. So integral 1 over s is log s, and integral 1 over s minus a is log of s minus a. Now because it is a definite integral, you have to substitute the upper and the lower limit. But if you substitute directly now in this step, there is a problem. The problem is you will get the infinite answer. So to get a finite answer, you have to use some properties of log. So according to the log properties or law of logarithms, you can say that if I have log of alpha minus log of beta, I can write it as log of alpha over beta. So it would be log of s by s minus a. Still you cannot substitute infinite straight away. You will get a log of infinity over infinity, which is undefined, right? So for that you have to perform one more step. Divide the numerator with s and divide the denominator with s. If you do that, you will get log of 1 upon 1 minus a over s. And if now you substitute infinity, then what would be the answer? Log of 1 upon 1 minus a over infinity, which means it is 0, right? So the answer would be log 1, which is 0, and then minus the lower limit. So minus the lower limit, you will get this term. So make a note, whenever you have the upper limit as infinity, never substitute directly. First check how can I simplify the things and how can I get the finite answer, right? So these are the important steps which you have to follow in the examination to make sure you are getting a finite answer and not undefined or infinity as your answer. So the previous step was minus log of 1 upon 1 minus a over s. If I rearrange it, what I will get, see carefully, if I rearrange it, I will get minus log of, it would be s upon s minus a, and I can take this minus as the power, right? So this is gone and now it is the power. So you can rearrange it again and you will get the final answer as log of s minus a upon s. So this is the final answer. So there is one important note in this format. Please write it down. You know that Laplace of f of t upon t is equal to integral s to infinity capital F of s ds. But according to the definition of Laplace, so you can see here definition of Laplace. Let's say this part is g of t. So Laplace of g of t is equal to integral 0 to infinity e raised to minus st into g of t dt. And again the answer remains same because I've just changed the format. I'm just using the definition of Laplace. Now there is one important note. So the note is, if the examiner says find integral 0 to infinity f of t upon t dt, so basically use this format. And if you substitute s is equal to 0, you will get your required answer, right? So after solving here, after getting the solution, you will get the answer in terms of s. Just substitute the value of s as 0, or you can simply say that I will just change my limit, right? So limit is from 0 to infinity, still I am getting the same answer. So there is two way, either solve this integration and then put s is equal to 0, so this is method 1, or simply use the method 2 where you can say that my limit, the lower limit is 0. So let us see the example. Integral 0 to infinity sin t upon t dt. Tell me what is the answer. At the very first instance, you might be thinking this is a definite integral question, but actually this is the question of Laplace transform. The format matches with f of t upon t, so I can think of the important result which I have studied. Whenever I have integral 0 to infinity f of t upon t, I can say that the answer is 0 to infinity capital F of s ds. This I know because of the previous slide, right? Using the same result, I can solve this question. Integral 0 to infinity Laplace of f of t, which is nothing but capital F of s ds. So Laplace of sin t is 1 upon s square plus 1, and the integral of 1 upon s square plus 1 ds is tan inverse of s. Put the upper limit, so first upper limit will come in the picture. So tan inverse, so this step is tan inverse of infinity minus tan inverse of 0. So tan inverse of infinity, infinity can be written as tan pi by 2. The answer would be pi by 2, right? Because tan inverse and tan will cancel out and you will get pi by 2. Then pi by 2 minus tan inverse of 0, so tan inverse of 0 is 0. Final answer would be pi by 2. Hi everyone, welcome to Study Simplified. In this video, we are going to see the Laplace transform of different function. So basically we have two type of function, unit step function and delta function. The respective terms are u of t and delta of t. So Laplace transform of a unit step function is 1 over s, and Laplace transform of a delta function is 1. If you want to see the graph of u of t, it's very simple. This is the axis where time is present. So when your time is 0 and it is going up till infinite. So from 0 to infinity, the amplitude is 1, and when your time is less than 0, the amplitude is 0. This is the graph of a unit step function. For the delta function at the time 0, the graph works. When your time is greater than 0 or less than 0, the function is not working, the amplitude is 0. In this video, we are going to see a lot of example on this function. But before going to the example, there are some doubts. I want to clear your doubt. At this point, the time is at origin, but sometime the time can be shifted, right? It can be u of t minus a. In that case, you have to use the Heaviside shifting property, and you have to say that first I will fix the bracket. The value here is minus a, then you have to raise it to the power of e. So e raised to minus a into s. Then Laplace of the original function, then Laplace of u of t would be what? Laplace of u of t would be 1 over s. This is the final answer of Laplace of u of t minus a. Similarly, if the delta function is shifted, let's say delta of t plus a, then you have to use the same property again. Whatever is the shifting part, raise that to the power of e, so e raised to plus a into s. Now this function is changed to Laplace of delta of t. So Laplace of delta of t is 1. So final answer is e raised to plus as. But there is one problem in the exam. In the exam, the level is again something up level. How? If your function is multiplied to this shifted version. Let's say u of t minus a, you know the Laplace is what? E raised to minus as into 1 over s. What if a function is multiplied to this u of t minus a? Now you cannot say the answer would be e raised to minus as into 1 over s and Laplace of f of t. This is not true. This is not true. In this case, what you have to do is you have to change this function's time to t minus a. Basically, you have to do the manipulations. Okay, so you have to do the manipulation and you have to shift the position of time of the given function f of t. So f of t, the position is at 0 originally. Now you are shifting it at the position of your step function. So step function is at t minus a, then the original function is also shifted to t minus a. Now you can see both the brackets are same. Once both the brackets are same, now you can use the Heaviside shifting property and you can say I will fix the bracket. So e raised to minus as, now all the position are at origin, so Laplace of f of t is, would be my next step, and once I get Laplace of f of t, I will just multiply that with e raised to minus as and I will get the final answer. So let us understand all this concept by examples. So example 1, find the Laplace of 2t minus 1 into u of t minus 2. So look carefully at this part, the unit step function is shifted and it is shifted at minus 2, right? So t is changed to, I will write here, t is changed to t minus 2, correct? So your task is whenever f of t is present, f of t should also be changed at t minus 2. So how to do that? At this point the time is at origin. So how will you convert this t to t minus 2? Surely you have to do some manipulation, but how to do manipulation? Let's see that. So first step is the manipulating step, where you can see that minus 1 is written as minus 4 plus 3. Now why I am doing that? Because now if I club this to function, because variable is present at this part, right? So if I club to function, I can take 2 outside and then the bracket would be t minus 2, which is the position I needed because my step function is shifted at t minus 2, correct? So now you can see that yes, everything is in terms of t minus a. Now you can use the Heaviside shifting property and get the answer quickly. But before going to the answer, there is one more point. This part is function 1 and this part is function 2. So when u of t minus 2 is multiplied to function 2 and function 1, the Laplace would be splitted, right? So now you have to basically solve the two Laplace of this function, then the Laplace of this function. So when you are solving the Laplace of the first function, you have to use the Heaviside shifting property, because in the previous slide you have seen that whenever you have f of t minus a into u of t minus a, first you have to write e raised to minus as, right? So it would be e raised to minus 2s because the value of a here is 2. So e raised to minus 2s into Laplace of f of t, right? So here f of t minus 2 is present, so f of t would be what? It would be t. So Laplace of t you have to find, and once you find that, you will get the Laplace of the complete function 1. Simple. So this was the important step you should know using the Heaviside shifting property. And also you can do it for the function 2 as well, where t minus 2 is present, so fix that bracket, so it would be e raised to minus 2s, right? And then the Laplace of the function. So function here is actually a constant. So Laplace of a constant is what? Laplace of a constant is 1 over s. So straight away you can get the answer of the function 2. Now club everything and you will get the final answer. So from the previous step, because e raised to minus 2s is common, I took that outside, and then in general we have this part inside, which is 2 times Laplace of f of t, and here also Laplace of f of t, right? And Laplace of t is what? 1 factorial upon s raised to 1 plus 1. Laplace of 1 is 1 over s. Do the calculation, do the simplification, this would be the final answer. Let us see some more tricky questions. So example 2, t square into u of t minus 3, tell me what would be the Laplace of this function. So first of all, you have to note again, this unit step function is a shifted version at t minus 3, right? But this original function is at origin, f of t, it is at origin. So you have to somehow convert this function again to f of t minus a. You have to do some manipulation. So how to do that? Let us see. Again, at the first step we have done t square is written as t minus 3 plus 3 the whole square. Why I have done this? Because this part is considered a, now this part is considered b. So a plus b the whole square is a square plus 2ab plus b square. And now you can say that this complete function is of the form f of t minus a. My manipulations worked. So always remember that the first step would be the manipulations. Once you get your time shifted to t minus a, now you can go for the Heaviside shifting property, because again we have f1, f2 and f3. We have three functions. U of t minus 3 would be multiplied inside the bracket for each of the function, and once you take the Laplace, it would be a splitted version, right? So first of all, make a note like u of t minus 3 is common to all. So fix the bracket at the first step only. What you can do is e raised to minus 3s is you are fixing the bracket, and now your time is changed to origin, right? So once you place this e raised to minus 3s, now the time which is at t minus 3 is shifted back to the original position, that is 0. So now the time is at 0. So the function will look like Laplace of t square plus 6t plus 9, and because you can follow the linearity property of Laplace, you can split the Laplace. Laplace of t square would be 2 factorial upon s raised to 2 plus 1. Laplace of 6t would be 6 upon s raised to 1 plus 1. Laplace of a constant is 9 over s. Now this is example 3 where exponential is present. Again the function, the unit function is shifted at t minus 2, but the original function f of t is at origin. So f of t is at origin, which means the time is at 0. But you have to change it to f of t minus a. In this case it would be f of t minus 2. So how to perform that? It's simple. Instead of t, I am writing it as t minus 2 plus 2, which is t, no problem, but I am doing the manipulations because now I can use the property of exponential. If you have e raised to a into e raised to b, you can write it as e raised to a plus b. In this question we are going backwards, okay? So if I consider this part as my a and this part as my b, it would be e raised to 3 into t minus 2 into e raised to 3 into 2. So I'm just going backward. E raised to a plus b can be written as e raised to a into e raised to b. Now once you do that, this part is constant, so no problem, e raised to 6 is outside. Then this 2 part contains the variable. So you have to take a special care when you are taking the Laplace of this function. So when you are taking the Laplace of this function, this part is constant, right? You can take it outside. So Laplace of this part is what? So first you have to use the Heaviside shifting property. You can see that here also the function is f of t minus a, this is u of t minus a. The bracket can be fixed using e raised to minus as. Once you place e raised to minus 2s, now the position of time is at origin, which means you can find the Laplace of f of t, which is Laplace of e raised to 3t, and Laplace of e raised to 3t is 1 over s minus 3. So this is the final answer. See, up till now all the questions we have seen are of algebraic, but there are some important questions of trigonometry as well based on Heaviside shifting property. Let us see this question. Sin t plus cos t into u of t minus pi by 2 is present. Find the Laplace of this function. Yes, you know that the unit step function is shifted at t minus a, but at this point the function is at origin. Again you have to do some manipulation, but here there is one technique. If you know the trigonometry rules, trigonometry relationship, you can solve these questions quickly. Why? Because sine of pi by 2 minus theta is plus cos theta, and cos of pi by 2 minus theta is plus sine theta. So you are just manipulating the questions once, right? You are writing sine t plus cos t as sine of pi by 2 minus t plus cos of pi by 2 minus t, because both are same. But if you look carefully, this bracket is pi by 2 minus t, right? But the requirement is t minus pi by 2. Then what you have to do, just take minus 1 outside this bracket, and here also minus 1 outside the bracket. If you do that, it would be sine minus of t minus pi by 2 and cos minus of t minus pi by 2. You are just taking the minus outside. And once you do that, now again we have one more trigonometry relationship. Whenever you have sine of minus theta, the answer is minus sine theta. And whenever you have cos of minus theta, the answer is plus cos theta. Now in this next step, you are using the same rule. Yes, you can see here sine of minus theta is written as minus sine theta, and here cos of minus theta is written as cos theta, right? Using the relationship. So finally you can say that now the time is at t minus 2 in every part. And once it is true, then you can use the Heaviside shifting property. You can fix the bracket, just raise to the power of e. So it would be e raised to minus pi by 2 into s, and the function is changed to minus sine t. Then here it is changed to plus cos t. and here it is u of t. Now take the Laplace of this part. Okay, so Laplace of minus sin t, then you have to take Laplace of plus cos t. So doing the remaining part, Laplace of cos t minus Laplace of sin t, the respective answer is s over s square plus 1, 1 over s square plus 1. All this part is explained in my previous videos where basics of Laplace transform and the standard result is provided to you. So it will take 1 second to get this answer, and final answer is this. I guess the Heaviside shifting property is clear. We have seen a lot of example. Now moving forward to the delta question. So whenever you have the delta function, how to deal with that? Because you know that Laplace of delta of t is 1, and if it is a shifted version, you can just raise that to the power of e. If it is delta of t plus a, the answer would be e raised to plus as in the Laplace domain, and if the time domain function is delta of t minus a, the Laplace version would be e raised to minus as. So let us see this example. We have to find the Laplace of 2 into delta of t minus 1 plus 3 into delta of t minus 2 plus 4 into delta of t plus 3. So first you have to look if I can split the Laplace, which is yes. When three functions are added or subtracted, you can split the Laplace. So let us see the Laplace of the first part. So Laplace of 2 into delta of t minus 1, 2 is a constant, take it outside. Laplace of delta of t minus 1, fix the bracket, it would be e raised to minus s. Then Laplace of delta of t, which is 1. Do it for the rest part, the answer would be this. Just showing you the second part also, so I want that there is no confusion. Again, if you take Laplace of this part, 3 is constant, take it outside. Laplace of delta of t minus 2. So first fix the bracket, it would be e raised to minus 2s. Then Laplace of delta of t, which is 1. So I hope you got the solution. So let us see one of the trickiest question of Laplace transform in the delta function. Find the Laplace of cos hyperbolic of 3t into delta of t minus 2. So at the very first point, you noted that the time is shifted at t minus 2. So your function f of t should also be shifted to use the Heaviside shifting property. But you don't know how to start this question. Cos hyperbolic of 3t is present, but I don't know how to start, how to manipulate the things. So for that, I have always told you, whenever trigonometry is present, you have to use some relationship. Either trigonometry can be converted from power to the multiple angle, or the function can be converted into the exponential function. These are the two techniques. First method is power. Whenever you have cos square theta or cos cube theta, you can convert into the multiple angle, and whenever you have a trigo function, it can be converted into the exponential form. So these are the two important method. You will find this very helpful in the calculus as well. So cos hyperbolic theta can be written as e raised to theta plus e raised to minus theta upon 2, where theta here is, what is the value of theta here? 3t. Okay, so that is the reason you are getting e raised to 3t plus e raised to minus 3t upon 2 and this delta part. So the next step is to split, right? We have two functions f1 and f2 in the addition format, so you can split, right? This is the first function, this is the second function. Just multiplying the delta inside the bracket and you will get the two function. Now when you are finding the Laplace, please note the time here is t minus 2, the time here is origin. So if you want to find the Laplace, you have to do the manipulations to use the Heaviside shifting property. So you have to change this t again to t minus 2. So for that I have done this manipulation, and also at this part time is at origin, I want it at t minus 2. So again I have done some manipulation. Performing splitting of exponential term, which is nothing but if you have e raised to a into e raised to b, it is written as e raised to a plus b. In this question I have e raised to a plus b. I have to go back, I have to split it in the form e raised to a into e raised to b. So I will show here, see, e raised to 3 into t minus 2 into e raised to 3 into 2. In this way I will split, so that I can say this part is a constant part and this part has the shifting version, that is t is shifted at t minus 2. In the previous step we had the format e raised to a plus b. We are splitting it as e raised to a into e raised to b. So in the first function you can see the two exponential terms splitted, right? So the constant part is taken outside and the Laplace of e raised to 3 into t minus 2 into delta of t minus 2. Now we have to note here, at this part t is shifted same at the same position, t minus 2. So now you can use the Heaviside shifting property and you can say that I can take e raised to minus 2s as outside and I will fix the bracket. Now the time is at origin, so Laplace of e raised to plus 3t into delta of t, you can find it easily, right? There is no problem. You have to use the shifting property, right?
The shifting property is simple, like whenever e raised to 3t is multiplied to any function, take the Laplace of this function and then you have to shift the position of s, so it would be shifted to s minus 3. In the second part also you have to do the same thing. E raised to minus 6 is constant, so take it outside. Then the Laplace of this part. Again, the time is shifted at t minus 2 using the Heaviside shifting property. You have to fix that. So e raised to minus 2s. Now the time is at origin. So Laplace of e raised to minus 3t into delta of t can be found using the shifting property again. So according to the shifting property, first take the Laplace of delta of t. Then because of this part, the position of s is shifted at s plus 3. So you can see that Laplace of delta of t is 1 and s is shifted at s minus 3. And again Laplace of delta of t is 1 and s should be shifted at s plus 3. But because constant is present, even if you do the shifting, the answer won't change. So the final answer is e raised to 6 into e raised to minus 2s. Here also, even after shifting the position of s to s plus 3, the answer won't change because the answer was 1, the answer was a constant. So that is the reason you are getting the same answer, e raised to minus 6 into e raised to minus 2s. In this part, you can take e raised to minus 2s. It's a variable which is common, you can take it outside, and the remaining part would be e raised to 6 plus e raised to minus 6 upon 2, which is cos hyperbolic of 6.
I hope you liked the video. All these concepts, tricks and techniques are important for GATE examination, because in GATE examination you have to solve more question in less time. All these techniques, tricks and concepts you will find in my engineering mathematics notes. So if you want to buy the notes, the contact and the email ID are on the screens now.
तो फ्रेंड्स, अगर आपको मेरी वीडियो पसंद आ रही हो देन टू लाइक दिस वीडियो, शेयर विथ योर फ्रेंड्स एंड सब्सक्राइब टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल। तो मिलते हैं अगली वीडियो में। टिल देन टेक केयर, दिस इज श्रेनिक जैन, पीस आउट।